Welcome to the motherfucking lady. We're covering today's top boxing news.
This is what's been missing from my boxing career for all those years. I've had a lot of stop-starts and a lot, even though I'm never out of the gym, I have, there's always a big gap between fighting, so it's nice to be picking up straight off where we left off and just keep the ball rolling, and momentum is what I need at this stage of my career. It's different. You can do as much sparring and training in the gym as you want, but nothing is as real as a fight, so a little bit of ring rust, and whereas this one it's great to, like I said, pick up where we left off and get straight back out there. We had a couple of holidays, nice 3 holidays to be exact, a little bit of downtime, and then just straight back in the gym. And I thought it was going to take me a while to build up my fitness. I was panicking a little bit because I like a good 12+ week training camp, and for this one, when we got the go ahead, it was like 10 weeks. I'm thinking, what about my fitness and stuff? But it's not gone anywhere.
So Terri Harper seems in good spirits following her decision loss to Caroline Dubois in a fight that most people picked her to get knocked out in.
I did.
She did a lot better than that against Caroline. She really held her own, even if the judges' scorecards didn't really reflect it. The fight was more competitive than I thought it would be, and now she's coming off that loss straight into a Miranda Reyes fight.
Caroline Dubois would serve as a common opponent between them. Both fighters have lost decisions to that same fighter. Now they're fighting each other.
Terri Harper being 29 years old to Miranda Reyes, who is 25, sporting a professional record of 9 wins with 3 losses and 1 draw, 3 recorded knockouts, having never been knocked out. In 13 professional bouts, she doesn't have a whole lot of fights, Miranda Reyes, but she has been in there with some good fighters, really good ones. Experience, though, that would still have to go to Terri Harper, the 3-weight world champion.
Going on 4, who not only has more professional fights, more rounds in the bank than Miranda Reyes, but she's also the more accomplished fighter, and by a lot.
Sporting a professional record of 16 wins with 3 losses and 2 draws, 6 knockouts, having been knocked out 2 times in 21 professional bouts. Champion at 3 weights, a champion at 130, 135, and at 154 currently. She aspires to become a champion at 140 in the super lightweight division, where Katie Taylor is set to retire very soon as perhaps an undisputed champion, and once she does, the reset button gets hit on the division, and all of those belts will be up for grabs.
What could be her opportunity to become a 4-weight world champion, seemingly in good spirits in spite of coming off that loss. Maybe it's because she put forward a performance that she can be proud of. Mentioning momentum going into this fight, that there's not a big gap in between her last fight with Caroline in April of this year and her next fight with Miranda this month.
She's got momentum. Unlike what we saw ahead of the Caroline Dubois fight, ahead of that fight, Terri had been out for a while. Just about a year? Less than ideal situation, be shaking off ring rust in a fight like that with a fighter like that, whereas this time, she still has the momentum and the sharpness from her last fight to bring to her next one, even though she lost.
No ring rust.
I give her good odds to beat Miranda Reyes via a points decision, who's coming off of 2 consecutive wins, and she also has some momentum going in. Few key elements you want to remember is that Terri is a lot more experienced than Miranda Reyes and has consistently competed at a very high level. You need to compete at a high level to beat her.
Like Caroline Dubois, like Sandy Bryan, Alicia Baumgartner. It's no easy task.
Key elements you want to remember is that Terri is a little taller with longer arms than Miranda Reyes, whereas Miranda is more pocket-sized. Terri and her affinity to move around, stick the jab out there, so long as she doesn't spend a lot of time in the pocket, she could make this a very frustrating fight for Miranda, who has to close the distance. She doesn't have a choice, and where the fight is happening, it's happening in the UK. Terri will have home field advantage.
If it goes to the judges' scorecards.
And I think it's going to. When it does, I like Terri Harper to win a competitive, hard-fought decision, because I think Miranda can make her work for it, but I like Terry's chances to not only get back in the winner's bracket, but perhaps become a 4-weight world champion. Terri Harper on points is the pick.
And men's lightweight news, Schofield versus Bahdi agree to fight for the WBA lightweight title. The sanctioning body had scheduled a purse bid for Tuesday with a minimum bid set for 150 large, but it won't be needed after all. The purse bid was postponed because Golden Boy, Schofield's promoter, and MVP, Bahdi's promoter, came to an agreement, Schofield wrote on social media. The fight will take place on October 10th and we are 99% sure it will be in Las Vegas, Schofield's manager, Michael Miller, told the Ring on Wednesday.
We are thankful for the opportunity to fight for a title. It's something we've been waiting on for years. The vacant title that Schofield and Bahdi will be fighting for was formerly held by Gervonta Davis. Schofield is ranked at number 1 by the WBA. Bahdi is ranked at number 2. Both fighters are also ranked in the Ring's top 10 at 135, with Schofield holding the number 6 spot and Bahdi down at number 8. Schofield, 19-0 with 13 KOs, a 23-year-old from Austin, Texas. Last fought in June of last year and stopped former champion Tevin Farmer in the first round. It was a statement performance for Schofield, who was supposed to face Shakur Stevenson 4 months prior, but abruptly pulled out of the encounter during fight week, citing an unknown illness.
Chronic case of cold feet is what I would call it. Why has Floyd Schofield taken so long to return to action if he only fought for 1 round in 1 fight all of last year?
It's a combination of things. I vaguely recall some mention of an injury following that fight, and then there was waiting out this situation with Lucas Bahdi or Gervonta Davis to fight for the WBA title. Initially, they said they were angling for Gervonta, but when it became obvious that he wasn't going to come back this year, they focused on Lucas Bahdi, a 32-year-old from Ontario, Canada, who's made a solid name for himself ever since scoring a vicious knockout of then unbeaten prospect Ashton Silva 2 years ago in July of 2024. Following the win, Bahdi also went on to hand Armando Casamanica and Ryan James Racaza the first losses of their careers. In his most recent fight, Bahdi scored a 12-round UD against Roger Gutierrez in August of last year.
So they got a lot in common, Floyd Schofield and Lucas Bahdi. Floyd fought a former champion in his fight, and so did Lucas Bahdi. Roger Gutierrez used to hold the WBA title
at 130 till he subsequently lost it to Hector Luis Garcia. Still, these two guys have got a lot in common. They both faced former champions in their last outings, and they both have not seen action since the summer of last year. So they both will have significant ring rust to shake off.
With the fight set to go down in October in Las Vegas, they will both have been out well over a year when they fight.
But it is a fight of some significance. It's for the WBA title. The Schofields as a package, junior and senior, have been insufferable, all without a belt. So just imagine how they're going to be if they win one. What the article doesn't mention,
who's promoting this?
Who's going to be at the helm of the promotion in October? Is it going to be Golden Boy or is it going to be MVP? Floyd Schofield has boxed on MVP shows at least once by my count. They've used him before.
They could use him again. At the same time, Golden Boy Promotions is now based out of Las Vegas, so maybe they're going to be at the helm of the promotion. I think it matters a great deal who's promoting this thing, because that will tell us who the house fighter is and who is likelier than not to get special consideration, as well as what platform we can expect to see the fight on. If it's MVP, then it's going to be on ESPN, but if it's Golden Boy, then it's going to be on DAZN.
Men's welterweight news. Teofimo Lopez on Rolly Romero in his estimation of why he's going to win. I'm just the better fighter. Romero, 17-2 with 13 knockouts, and Lopez, 22-2 with 13 knockouts, will meet at the T-Mobile Arena in Vegas to headline a DAZN and Prime Video pay-per-view event presented by PBC.
An important detail that even though Teofimo Lopez just struck a deal directly with DAZN, no promoter involved, when it comes to this show, fight he's about to have, the PBC is promoting that, and that would make Rolly the house fighter.
As Lopez engaged in an array of exercises and then met with the media to declare that he's ready to rock Romero and become a 3-weight world champion. I'm really healthy, focused, and locked in for this fight, Lopez said. I'm excited for everything that's to come, and right now, it's the takeover. The man in the mirror is the hardest fight for me at 147. That's all it is, man. I think my biggest advantage against Rolly is going to be that I'm just a better fighter. I'm fighting a big puncher at 147, and going up to that weight for the first time, we're taking a risk, but because it's no risk, no reward, I'm just focusing on my objectives, so I can come out victorious. Lopez certainly has the edge, at least on paper, in the skills department against the hard-hitting Romero. Odds makers like his chances too. Lopez is listed as a negative 225 betting favorite, and Romero is the plus 175 underdog, according to DraftKings.
I see it the same way. I've got Teofimo Lopez winning the fight for more reasons than one, because of his previous experience sparring this fighter on a number of occasions. He knows his man, and what usually happens when top-ranked fighters fight PBC guys.
Usually the top-ranked fighter wins, but Romero, who typically brings a brawling style, proved he can mix things up as needed when he astutely outboxed and dropped Ryan Garcia during a unanimous decision win last time out in May of last year.
Yeah, but was that really that Rolly looked good, or that Ryan looked bad? In my estimation, the only reason Ryan lost that fight was because he was off the sauce. Get him back on it and put Rolly in front of him. I think Ryan knocks him out.
Where Teofimo thinks Rolly's skills are underappreciated. He controls the pace and makes it his fight. Everyone overlooks that, but he's not underrated on the stature side. He's a world champion for a reason.
Yeah, because he was in the right place at the right time when the title went vacant.
Lopez, meanwhile, didn't look so good during his most recent outing in January of this year, suffering a lopsided decision loss to Shakur Stevenson. The loss ended a 4-year, 7-fight run for Lopez at 140. Lopez, a former Ring Magazine and Unified Lightweight and junior welterweight champion, already has wins against the likes of Vasyl Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, and could secure additional legacy-defining fights in a new division against WBO champion Devin Haney and WBC champion Ryan Garcia. If he gets past Romero, Lopez declared that he's only interested in unification fights to etch his name as the welterweight great of the era, a title previously held by Terrence Crawford. I'm here to take over and become undisputed at welter, Lopez said. The welterweight division is in a great position right now. I'm just going to keep going forward in my career. I'm so locked in on continuing to achieve bigger and better things, one fight at a time. The fans can decide my legacy when it's all over.
When this fight's over, Teofimo Lopez may see himself reintegrated into the Ring IQ pound-for-pound list on the premise of the win over Rolly, adding to his already illustrious track record.
He's got 2 wins over 2 champions at lightweight in Richard Comey and Vasyl Lomachenko, 1 more over Josh Taylor at 140, and a win over Rolly.
That makes 4.
Bringing the grand total of championship scalps he's collected to 4 world champions across 3 weight classes.
He can get back on the list. I'd like him to win.
And it is in part because of what he said. I think he's just better. Better than Rolly, better all around. It's not like Rolly did anything remarkable against Ryan Garcia. I would chalk that up to more Ryan looking bad than Rolly looking good, and the fact that he hasn't fought since then, so the night of he's going to be shaking off ring rust. That doesn't help the situation either.
He hasn't fought in a year. It really doesn't help it that Teofimo's already familiar with him, and he sparred him a number of times in their younger years, and what usually happens when top-ranked fighters fight PBC fighters. I know T.O.'s not with them now,
but they're still the ones who vetted and developed him, so the same applies. Top-ranked fighters usually beat PBC guys. The last time out, what did O'Shaquie Foster do to Stephen Fulton?
He won a decision.
Thus, on that predication, I'm expecting Teofimo Lopez to do the same, and in effect, become a 3-weight world champion. He's going to be back in the winner's bracket by the end of this month. Finally, in the men's heavyweight division, Murat Gassiev has been invited to join the quote-unquote home of the heavyweights. As it stands, Queensberry fighters Agit Kabayel and Daniel Dubois hold the WBC and WBO titles respectively, while Moses Italma and Filip Pergovic, another 2 contracted stars, will fight for the vacant IBF belt in London on August 29th. That means the WBA strap held by Gassiev is the only one currently outside of the promotional stable. Now, following tentative talks regarding a potential unification between Gassiev and Kabayel, promoter Warren has confirmed he would be open to doing a deal with the Russian, whose last 2 fights have headlined IBA Pro events. When asked whether he would be looking to match Gassiev with a Queensberry heavyweight, Warren said, "Of course. We haven't got a problem doing that. At the moment, all our top guys are involved in fights, but of course, we'd love to get him in this part of the scene. He's a good fighter, a quality fighter. Why wouldn't he want to come and get involved? We're the home of the heavyweights."
You know, most of what promoters say is usually hyperbole, but not that part. Not when Frank says they've got the heavyweights, they do. 3 of the 4 major titles are arguably already over there.
And they already host the division's hottest prospect in Moses Atelma, so Gassiev joining the fray would be beneficial for him. Taking control of the heavyweight landscape has been one of Queensberry's main ambitions the last few years, but Alexander Usyk's dual victories over Tyson Fury meant a number of the world titles have eluded them.
Had eluded them, because they've got them now.
When the Ring Magazine champion decided to vacate all of his alphabet titles earlier this year, Queensberry were able to capitalize. For now, Gassiev can keep the WBA belt outside of their grasp, but Warren insists Queensberry wants to be the driving force behind a new undisputed champion, not a collection of different belt holders. He said, "Who's top of the pile?
Top of the tree. Who's the guy?
Who's gonna wear the crown? We will find out. We'll make it happen. I think it will happen within the next 18 months to 2 years. Obviously, belts have got to be fought for, but we've got to get the governing bodies together to agree to a unification program. That means mandatories might need to be pushed back and so forth. So there's a lot of things to be done. But one thing you cannot accuse us of is holding things up. We're making this division move. I don't think the heavyweight division's had so many title fights on like this in succession for many, many, many years. And we're making it happen. Ultimately, where we want to be is identifying who's the best out of these bunch of fighters and seeing who's going to hold the 4 belts and move on from there.
Now, one potential fly in the ointment for Queensberry securing all 4 alphabet titles is currently Gassiev is said to be in negotiations to box Jarrell Big Gravy Miller.
Big gravy!
He's promoted by Matchroom now. So just imagine that Matchroom makes that fight, and just imagine that Jarrell Miller wins that fight. Well, that title's staying over there.
Big gravy!
I suppose it's inconsequential, though, because whether it ends up at Matchroom or it ends up at Queensberry, both promotional outfits are on the same platform, so the unification match.
It can happen in either event.
Heavyweight division has always been the granddaddy of the scene, the big money division, and that is what Queensberry, for the most part, controls.
Now, because of the language barrier and Gassiev being a Russian fighter, he may be a bit of a hard sell for the Brits at first. But if you use him periodically on your shows, get the fans acquainted with him so they can get to know him like they got to know Usyk, he might grow on them because he is a fun fighter to watch. Limited, albeit very entertaining.
And you could say that about most heavyweights, you know. They're not all going to be Usyk. They're not all going to be good at everything. Seems like sort of a race against time between Matchroom and Queensberry to see what happens with Gassiev next. Queensberry's got to beat them to the punch to sign that fighter and make him one of their own.
What about the IBA? Haven't they been the ones promoting Gassiev?
They have, and they seem a well-to-do organization, but the fact of the matter is, most of the money, the big money in the heavyweight division is in Britain, which means you need to get signed by either Matchroom or Queensberry.